Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dave Cudrak. This is the Music Scene Podcast. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I'm excited. I've got a new member of the family to tell you about. Here in New Jersey, it's been very, very cold over the last few days, and there's been this stray cat wandering around my apartment complex for months. He first showed up, I think, sometime around September. It is now January. And, the kids have been interacting with him, and we've been feeding him occasionally. One of the neighbors feeds him. He's been coming around, and lately he's been coming around a little bit more. And then he was coming around kind of on a daily basis. And when it got really, really cold this past Tuesday, it was down to like 8 degrees or something overnight. He was out front of the apartment and was shivering and meowing, and we were feeding him and stuff and petting him, but he just seemed really, really cold, and anything below 32 degrees is just too cold for a stray cat. So it took a lot of coercing, and we managed to get the cat to actually walk in to my apartment on his own. He's still very skittish, but he's warming up to us and my dog. He's warming up every day. Every day it gets a little bit easier, and he's awesome. We've named him Taco because we let him in the house on Taco Tuesday, and we actually had tacos for dinner that night. So he's super cool, and every day he's getting more and more chill. So fingers crossed, hopefully it works out. Yes, I will take him to the vet to get checked out, and also to double check and make sure he's not microchipped, in case he does belong to somebody. I know he's not neutered, and he's been around for months. So I don't think he really belongs to anyone, or at least doesn't anymore. But yeah, we'll look into it. We make sure we do everything the right way. I also have a couple quick announcements. I have a show scheduled at Southern Cross Kitchen in Conshohocken, PA on Friday, January 31st. I have a family obligation to attend to, so Chuck M., who was on the podcast a few episodes ago, has graciously agreed to cover for me. So, check out social media for all those updates. But my Southern Cross Kitchen gig in Conshohocken on Friday, January 31st, it will not be me. It will be Chuck M. If you were planning on going to that show, you will not be disappointed. Chuck is the man. He's got a hell of a voice, and he's got a great song selection. Following day, I will be at Brewery 33 in Riverton. That is Saturday, February 1st. And then we've got our open mic at Little E's Tavern on Sunday, February 2nd. So yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody out at those shows, and appreciate everyone's support. So thank you very much. On today's show, we've got the one and only Rich Bradley. He is the drummer for a cover band, a very popular cover band called 99 Reasons. Rich and I had a great talk. He's got some things that he is really, really passionate about, and we covered all of them. Obviously, we covered the work that he's doing in 99 Reasons, talked a little bit about the history of that band and what they've got going on. And then we talk about, he manages a Facebook page called SJ Cover Bands. And if let's say it's any random night you're looking to go see live music, you can just go to that Facebook page, and every single day he posts who's playing where in the South Jersey area. And then the last thing, dare I say the most important thing that we talked about, was a charity benefit show that Rich puts on every year. It's called Atco Battles Alzheimer's. The tickets go on sale in February, and the concert is actually in April. So make sure you check that out. It's definitely a worthy cause. Here is my conversation with Rich Bradley. there you go. That's
I
right.
mean, if you're not going to talk about yourself, nobody is.
That's exactly right. So, so we're here with Rich Bradley of 99 Reasons. Woohoo! Thanks for coming on the show here, Rich.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good. It's so you and I met, I think, the first time we ever met was at Great Barn Brewing, I think it was called, or Great Barn Tap House.
Yeah, up in Warrington, I think it was.
Yeah, Warrington, PA. I had a show there, and then like the way they did it was the solo acoustic musicians kind of opened for the band that was coming on later. So I remember finishing up my set, and you guys started coming in, and I didn't know who you are. This is the first time we ever met. And I finished my set with "She Talks to Angels," which is one of the songs that I usually finish my sets with, or I put it in the middle depending on when the most people are around. And I remember as I was packing up and everything, you came over to me and you were like, "Hey man, nice pipes." I was like, "Oh, awesome, thanks."
Doesn't really sound like something I would say. There must have been alcohol involved or something. No, you sounded good. So I was like, and the weird thing was, not really weird, I guess. It's like just the camaraderie, where you're coming up to us, we're coming to you, know, during your break, we were hanging out and everything. And like you said, we didn't know each other before then, but you're just like, you meet people and you try to be friendly with everybody, try to encourage and support. And, and that's what it should be about. So
exactly. Yeah. I remember we hung out a little while, maybe about an hour or so, and watched your set. And you guys were awesome. Super high energy, great song selections. The wireless mics are always a plus with the band members kind of wandering around the audience and stuff. It was very cool. Yeah,
that was a fun room, but we still do pretty much the same thing. It's just you try to get people on the dance floor and get them involved and have a good time, because that's what you're out for. I mean, you're out to have a good time. I mean, I always joke, like, you get this singer who goes like, "How's everybody feel?" And I said, all it takes is one drunk in the back go, "My dog died and I lost my job." Like, don't ask that question. Like, you just want people to say, "Yeah, we're having a great time, and thank you for entertaining us tonight."
Right, exactly.
And like you said, a song like, you find a song, or hopefully a lot of songs that fit the band well, that the audience wants to hear, and that you can sing well, which is very important. So
yeah, absolutely. So when did 99 Reasons first start?
We started about 10 years ago.
Oh wow!
And just there's been a lot of people who our alumni club is very large. It's a nice way to say it. It's it's a hobby. So the time requirements for what we do, where we're going to play between 40 and 50 times a year, that's a commitment. And people can make that commitment for, sometimes they can make it for 6 months, sometimes for a year.
Right.
I'm very fortunate. My singer, Mickey, her and I have been doing this for 10 years. And then Kenny, our guitar player, he's been with us about 3 years. And other people have kind of come and gone. Our bass player, Chip, he's relatively new. Our keyboard player, Bob, he's relatively new.
Yep.
So, and our new singer, he's 2 gigs in with us right now.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of the nature of the beast. And I admire these bands out there where, they don't have personnel changes. I'm like, how do you do that, man? Like, it amazes me how people want to commit to music and just go out and entertain people and have fun with it. So.
Yeah. And let's face it, we're not 19 years old, right? We have full lives to live.
Right.
Some of us have families and full-time jobs and all that stuff. So yeah, I can see where trying to be in something like that for a long, long time is tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of balance between, they talk about your work-life balance and everything. And so you got your work, you got your other life, your other hobbies, your friends you want to see, you want to hang out with, your significant others that, you want to hang out with them too.
Sure.
And then there's this band, and you look at your calendar and go, okay, we're kind of busy. Rich, what are you doing Saturday night? I'll be at this bar.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, it's a challenge in a lot of ways, and as you said, like, we're not all young, so it takes its toll on you physically as well. Like with the drummer or a sound system, you're moving hundreds of pounds of equipment.
Oh yeah.
And then you're up there for 3-4 hours, and then you get to move 100 and some pounds of equipment back again.
That's right.
And stop at Wawa on the way home and eat well. And all the traditional band stuff.
Right, it's truly a rock star lifestyle.
It really is. That's why everybody wants to do it. 'Cause there's nothing better than looking at your calendar and seeing you got an 8 o'clock gig down the shore, so you're leaving at like 5 o'clock maybe,
Right.
and you play 8 to 12, and you pack up at 1 o'clock, hit Wawa, of course, and you get home like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you go like, and then you're home at 2:30. It doesn't mean you're falling asleep at 2:30 because you still got to wind down.
You're a little bit wired up still.
Yeah, so like 4 o'clock or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then the alarm goes off and life starts all over again. It's great.
So
it's fun.
So you had mentioned 40 to 50 shows a year. So on average, you're looking at about once a week.
Pretty much, yeah, close to it.
Yep. Do you guys get super busy like in the summertime? Like, are you doing two shows a week or?
Usually summer is busy for all the bands.
Yeah.
You get a whole lot of bars down the shore from, mid-central Jersey all the way down to Cape May that they don't have entertainment. A lot of them aren't even open. So they open.
Yep.
They want entertainment, and you're making that trip. And
sure.
So, yeah, it could be 2 times a week. I mean, the busiest we've ever been, I think, was 3 times in 1 week. We played a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday.
Okay, yep.
And I think our bass player left us that Monday because it was too much. We played local, I think it was in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Then we were in Magnolia the next night, and we were in Wildwood the next morning.
Oh, wow.
And that, I think we're done at midnight in Magnolia.
Yeah.
And again, we were just talking about wrapping it up, packing it up, getting home.
Yeah.
And I think we played at a festival in Wildwood. I think we were on I don't think we had the 11 o'clock time slot, but it was like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But you're out of your door by like 9:30.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And and you have 2 gigs worth of hurt. But you get out there and there's a couple hundred people and you got to deliver.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, very cool. So, so I know you're the drummer. As if people don't know, you're the drummer of 99 Reasons. And when did you first start with music? When did you first start playing drums?
Wow. Probably like 7, maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I should be good by now, but
you're a good drummer. Don't sell yourself short.
Actually, my father played drums, so there
okay.
was a set of drums in the house, and the interesting thing was he was a lefty. So I didn't know any better when you first start. And then I started taking lessons and figured out I was a righty. So I swapped his drums around.
Oh, see, I didn't even know there was a difference between left-handed and right-handed drumming.
Yeah, generally, if you're a right-handed drummer, your hi-hats are to your left and your snare drum is also on your left side of your body.
Okay, yep.
And you go around the drums, left to right.
Okay.
And if you're a right-handed drummer, you're doing it kind of backwards.
Sure.
Well, for me, for a lefty, it would be perfectly normal. So.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I started and just played high school marching band, all that stuff, and just kept playing. And then, took a break for a number of years because of life.
Okay.
And got back into it maybe 15 years ago, something like that. I was just probably a little longer, but. Had the electronic drum kit because we had a baby, so you had to be quiet.
Yeah, play with the headphones on and all that.
Then started going out and seeing different bands at different local venues, and it's a wonderful community we have around here. The musicians are very supportive of each other, and you just you go to open mics or whatever, and and all of a sudden you're in a band. You wake up one day like, I think I joined a band last night.
Well, so your hiatus, right? This seems to be a recurring theme in this podcast with all of my guests. It seems like everybody I've had on, with maybe the exception of 1 or 2, have had some kind of hiatus in their musical journey, right? Myself, I took probably a 20-year hiatus from the guitar. But what kind of brought your hiatus on, and how long was it, and what made you decide to go back?
Part of it was I was living in California, and I didn't know a lot of people. Like, you're trying to establish your new job and meet your neighbors and find friends, and it just wasn't in the cards to be in a band as well.
Sure.
Moved back here after that, and was living with my mother-in-law, and just in like a small, I don't know what they're actually called, like the permanent. Whatever. It was a senior village, and I couldn't really set up
like
the
a
drums.
Manufactured home or something?
Yeah. And I couldn't really set up the drums because everybody was asleep after Matlock or something. Yeah, Murder, She Wrote. If the light's out, it's 8 o'clock. So, so that sort of prevented a lot of stuff. And then, had my daughter, and, then you start, probably like everyone you said, the itch comes back.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're sitting around one day and like, I haven't played that guitar in a while.
Yep.
And you just start strumming. You're like, I remember why I picked this up when I was a teenager or earlier.
Yep.
And, it just rekindles the passion. And then you say, I could do this a couple times a week, maybe, a couple times a month, whatever it is. And that's pretty much what happened. I started going to open mics, and I was invited actually to a party. And while I was at the party, somebody came up to me and said, "You play drums?" And I was like, "Play at it." He was like, "Well, I'm doing an open mic. Why don't you, I need a drummer. You want to be the drummer?"
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yep.
So
you were like the backline drummer for that open mic?
For a little bit of time.
Okay.
5-6 months maybe.
Yep.
And, you just start meeting people.
Sure.
You're just there, and like people come up, they introduce yourselves, and you're playing different songs. And, I think we all kind of grow up with like, our favorite songs or favorite genre, if you will. When you do an open mic, all of a sudden you're playing stuff you've heard maybe once in your lifetime, and you're like, I don't remember where the bridge comes in on this song type stuff. But people were supportive.
That's cool.
And you say, okay, maybe I should do this. Maybe I don't mind being in a band.
Right. So now, like, for those that don't know, I mean, you've probably seen 99 Reasons advertisements on billboards and whatnot in front of, on the signs in front of the restaurants and bars and whatnot. I mean, I just drove by Laughing Fox the other day, and I saw 99 Reasons. What is it, January 16th or 17th? 17th, yeah. So I guess my question is, like, you guys are an established cover band, been around for a while. That doesn't just happen, right? So, like, were you in a number of different bands first, and then 99 Reasons kind of happened? Because 99 Reasons, if I do say so, and correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of like your baby, right?
I mean, I run the band.
Right.
I mean, there's 6 people in the band. It's not just me.
Sure.
You don't want to hear me sing, so I have to get singers at least.
So how did
just kidding.
How did 99? How did that come about then?
It came about. I remember this. I was out seeing a friend's band, and they had a guy jump up on stage and sang a couple of songs. And I went up. I introduced myself to him. I said, "Dude, if I ever get in a band, I want you to be my singer."
Okay.
And he's like, "All right, that was kind of a weird intro, but whatever." And so we kind of kept in touch, but I didn't have a band. I was seeing another band, and the bass player was like crazy good, I thought. And we just started talking. We were like, maybe we could do something. He knew Mickey. I saw her at an open mic, and she just blew me away. Yep. And it was like, we should get her. Right. And then all of a sudden, the pieces just start coming together. I know this person. I mean, almost very high schoolish, It's like, my neighbor plays guitar, and his cousin's a bass player type thing. And you just, band together.
Right.
Bad pun, I know. But,
pun intended.
But you kind of come together like that, and, you think of the songs you want to do and what type of band you want to be. And, and then all of a sudden you're hustling, you're working the phones and saying, I got a band, can we play? And you find that place that says yes, and then you start calling in every favor of every person you've ever known in your lifetime. You got to come out and see my band, man.
That's right. And first time playing there, I need to bring people.
Yeah, exactly. And it snowballs. It's very gradual, but it does, and it just kind of builds and builds, and eventually you look around and go like, you start. When you first start playing, you're going to look out at your audience. I'm sure it's happened to you. You're going to recognize everybody in the audience.
Right.
They're a friend, they're a family member, a coworker, a neighbor. Yep. You know them all.
Yep.
And at a certain point, you look out and you realize, like, I don't know half these people here. They're here to see my band. I don't know who they are.
Right.
And that's to me, it's still an odd feeling to be playing and seeing people enjoying themselves and coming up to you and go like, "Hey, Rich." I'm like, who are you? And it's a terrible feeling. I'm like, I'm bad with names to start with. I don't need this little component added to it here. And just kind of say, hey, thanks for coming out. That's all you can do. Because as I tell everybody in a band basically, but like these people have chosen to spend their Friday or their Saturday or their Sunday with you.
Right.
They found you and said, I want to check out Dave. I want to check out 99 Reasons. I want to check out whatever band they do. So, we owe it to them to thank them at a very minimum. But,
absolutely.
Whatever else we can do to say, thanks for your support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's very true. And you're right. It is like a stressful problem to have when somebody comes up to him and they're all like, "Hey, Rich," or "Hey, Dave." And then you're like, I have no idea who you are, Yeah,
I lived in California for 3 years, so I can go, "Hey, dude," like with the best of them. I'm good like that.
There you go.
Dude.
It is a very flattering problem to have, though. Like, if somebody if you don't genuinely know that person, like you've never met them before and you're not supposed to know them, and they come up and be like, "Hey, Rich, I love you guys. This is my 4th time seeing you." Like, that's very flattering.
Yeah, it's like, let me find a T-shirt for you. Let me buy you a beer. Let me say thank you. A little bit better than, what's your name again?
Right,
Because
exactly.
I'm gonna forget it. It's my superpower. I forget names like the best of them.
I forget names all the time too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it kind of comes with the territory, because if you're playing, like we talked about, if you're playing every week and you're playing in front of 25 people a week, that's hundreds and hundreds of people you're meeting during the course of the year. That's excluding the people you meet in your real world.
Right.
And I used to joke, my daughter would bring home different friends. I'm like, who's that? Who is that? Did I ever meet this kid? And you just, yeah. So when you compound that by, like, instead of just one person coming in your house, you got 25 people coming to your show. And then hopefully it builds and they're bringing their friends or whatever. And like, great.
Yeah.
Great problem to have.
Absolutely. Yeah. So merchandise, right? You mentioned, like, let me find you a T-shirt. Like, you guys sell merch at your shows and all that stuff?
Yeah, we're my background's in marketing and PR, so I try to be a little bit different in what we do. Like, I see a lot of band shirts, and it's just kind of a black shirt with a band name on it.
Right,
like,
right.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. As opposed to like, all right, listen up at Dave, where you, dude, that's classic. I mean,
Thank you.
It's got your Instagram handle right on it.
Yeah, it's so for those that can't see, because we're an audio podcast, I have my T-shirt that says "All right, listen up," and then it just says at Dave Cudrak, which is my Instagram handle, and also my handle for, like, YouTube and TikTok, I think. But anyway, but "All right, listen up" is kind of how I start every podcast, and then if I post a video on YouTube or Instagram, I always start my videos with "All right, listen up." So that's where it comes from.
In developing our merch, I try to just be a little bit different. Like one of our shirts said, our first one said, "I have 99 reasons to hate Alzheimer's," because Alzheimer's is a very personal thing with me. Yep. We had a shirt that it used the Friends logo and the dots, and it just said 99 reasons in that font. Yep. We have a shirt, it's Bob Ross, and he's painting the 99 reasons logo.
That's awesome.
We had one, it was the Jack Daniels logo label, and we changed that for 99 reasons stuff. Yep. We most recently, our shirt was an Eagles shirt, and says, "This Eagles fan has 99 reasons to hate the Cowboys." And we literally have 99 reasons on the back of the shirt.
Oh,
and
that's
it's all
fantastic.
Like Cowboys stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like Jimmy Johnson's hair. So, yeah, I like doing the merchandise. We have beer koozies that say "I have 99 reasons to drink."
Oh, okay, nice.
It could just be our logo. It could just say 99 reasons, but we just try to go one step above and beyond.
Yeah,
just have some fun with it. I mean, imagine that we're in a band having fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weird concept.
Well, you guys are definitely a fun band. You're definitely a fun cover band. You're not one of these, I don't know what they call it, shoegazing or something. I forget, but it's like when the band is just up there playing their music, they're not looking at the crowd, they're just like looking down at their feet. You know what I mean? You guys are definitely not that.
Well, I brought I was online. I bought these plastic guns, but they shoot bubbles. Oh, really? Like soap bubbles, like kids would play with.
Yeah.
So I give each of my singers that, and they're standing there, they're shooting bubbles off, and like it's amazing. You see like 60-year-old people like trying to pop bubbles, like. Come on, dude.
That's fantastic.
Here's a dude who probably owns like a healthcare company. He's popping bubbles.
Jumping to get the highest bubble.
Yeah, and then like I just got like those light up necklaces.
Yeah.
Just to give something,
Sure.
It's amazing how people react to something really small and kind of goofy.
Yeah, it's not like it's super expensive, all this, that's awesome though. That's very cool.
Yeah. Yep. Just like, here you go, let's have some fun. Let's pop bubbles. Our singers like to go out in the audience. We like to engage people, hand them the mic to sing a line or something from the song.
Yep.
We work on stops in our songs to let the audience have a voice, basically,
Okay.
Whether like in Living on a Prayer or something.
Oh,
you come down part and I was you just stop and all you hear is the bass drum. You're like, oh,
yeah, and then you got the whole crowd singing. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
It's fun. It's great for us because you look out and you just see happy people.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it's even without alcohol, but
Sure.
with alcohol, they're happier.
So where did the name 99 Reasons come from? Is it a reference from Jay-Z's song?
We
or?
really don't know, actually.
Okay.
Our original keyboard player claimed that he came up with it.
Okay.
And we can't prove him wrong, so we're just like, all right, I guess so. And I don't know. We were, you know, it's like that's the weirdest thing about being in a band. It's like, you know, you gotta get people who you like. I basically have boiled this whole thing down to like 3 things have to be in place for a band to not be an utter failure. I'm not saying they're a success, but
Sure.
So, and number 1, I think you have to genuinely like each other because you're going to spend a lot of time together, both in person and like talking on the phone or sending each other text messages. So I think you, if not like each other in a healthy way, but at least have a very good mutual respect going.
Right, absolutely.
Number 2, you have to agree on the songs you want to play. Because, you know, if you got the guitar player who wants to play Zeppelin and the bass player who wants to play Lady Gaga, eventually someone's leaving the band.
Yeah.
And number 3, you have to agree how often you want to play out. Because, again, it gets to a situation, you know, if you got one guy, I can only play like once a month, and the other guy who doesn't have a job and he wants to play 6 times a month.
Right.
You know, eventually, again, somebody's not going to be happy with what's going on. So, and then you get to the band name, which is amazing because then you start to see some real personalities develop of just like, you know, people just throwing names out there, you know, the Blue Monkeys. All right, why not? We'll be the Blue Monkeys, you know? And like, and you know, you talk to some bands in the area and they have great stories behind how they got their name, whether it's the initials of the people, the original founding members of the band or something like that.
Yep.
We got no clue. Literally, I'll have to call Ed Frost, who was our keyboard player, who claims, and I'm not dissing you, Ed. I'll give you credit, my friend, but I don't know how he came up with it. It could have been the Jay-Z song. It could have just been something that, you know, he's big into marketing as well. It could have just been where he's looking ahead and saying, like, you know, we can play this 99 Reasons thing ad infinitum, you know? Here's 3 good reasons to come to our show. You know?
Right.
I got 99 reasons to hate the Cowboys. So
Right.
I got 99 reasons to drink. So.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't have a great story. Except
That's all right.
The great story is we don't have a great story.
There you go. So how far ahead are you booked? I mean, are you booked in like February yet or anything like that?
We got a call today about New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And today is what,
Nice.
January 17th, something like 16th? I don't know.
Yep.
14th. Today's the 14th.
Okay.
And so we're recording this on January 14th. And so we got a call about New Year's Eve, but we already had gigs into November.
That's great.
It's crazy.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's crazy because it means we're doing something right. That bars want us to play there.
Yep.
And, you know, they're willing to put us on the calendar for months and months and months down the road.
That's fantastic. So how can people find out where you're playing? Where are you on?
Well, they got a couple of ways. We have our Facebook page, 99 Reasons Band, our website, which it's very cool when you go on websites. So our website is www.99reasons.band.
Oh, okay.
It's not a .com or .org. It's a .band.
Yeah.
And then there's also that other little thing I do on the side that publicizes everybody,
right?
Is the SJ Cover Bands page.
Yeah, so let's swivel into that, right? So you have a Facebook page called SJ Cover Bands.
Correct.
And tell me kind of how that came about and what you're doing with it.
Okay, that one I have a story for.
Okay.
So I was in this band and we just weren't really good bands, you know. I mean, there's bands out there, and like we would go out and we'd see other bands, and you never want to say bands it's bad because people put a lot of time, effort, love into creating a band.
It's like telling a parent that their kid's ugly. You can't.
Yeah, he has a unique facial feature. Yeah, whatever. So, what we would put on our Facebook page was, hey, we're off this week, but go check out our friends in the Blitz or the Deck Band or whoever.
Okay.
And, they're playing on Friday and Saturday, go check out Goodman Fisk, go check out Stealing Savannah, whoever it was.
Yep.
Well, eventually the band broke up and, nobody claims the Facebook page or something. So I went online at one point in time just to delete it, know. And there were like a bunch of messages, not like 4, but probably like 25. And like, yo, sorry to hear about your band. But it was really cool when you let people know who else was playing.
Right.
Could you keep that up? Don't worry about your damn band.
Yeah, right.
Tell me what's going on. So, at that point I thought, you know what, maybe there is something. There was a magazine, newspaper that called Out on the Town that was around for years and years and years. And they would publicize bands that were playing and where they were playing. But the owner of that, he fell into bad health, eventually passed away. And so there was really no way, unless you're a fan of the band, to find out where bands were playing. The bars in the area, they got kind of spoiled. And because when I was growing up, you would advertise in the Daily News or the Courier Post. You could go to those papers and see who's playing where. And then with Facebook and other social media, they kind of said, well, we got a Facebook page if you want to find out who's playing.
Right.
And sometimes they would even update it. Sometimes they wouldn't.
Well, back in the day, it was MySpace.
Yeah.
Bands used to be on MySpace all the time.
And so I said, all right, you know what? And I just started writing down some of the bands with people that I knew and were friendly to me. And, just kind of a list. And it was basically, here's who's playing on Friday. Here's who's playing on Saturday. And you just fill it in. And it's just a listing. And it grew. Like it took off type of it's like sometimes I joke, it's amazing what one guy in a bad idea can get away with. And, the page is seen during the summer, it's up to like 15,000 views a month.
Wow.
Like, you're talking 500 people a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Literally coming to see who's playing where.
Right.
And, so like there's an update almost every day. Mondays and Tuesdays are kind of slow, especially in the fall and winter. But
it sounds like a lot of work to keep that page up.
It's a challenge.
Yeah,
it's a gigantic spreadsheet I have, and across the top of the spreadsheet I have all the days. So, and then on the left hand side I have all the bands.
Right.
And then I just kind of reference them, and then you delete line by line or column by column technically, and say, here you go. This is here's who's playing tonight.
Yeah, that's cool.
Here's who's playing.
And how do people get on that list? I mean, it's not like you scour the internet for people's posting. I mean, I assume the band informs you, right?
There's some scouring, but some bands are, as you can guess, like some bands are really good. They're really out in front of on their social media and telling people we're playing here. And some bands, they're not as good. I asked them to send me their contact or send me their calendar on a monthly basis.
Oh, okay.
And, then I just sit there, and some mornings or afternoon or evening, I just go through and said, all right, here's Dave Cudrak on, the 14th he's here. It's the 15th here, 22nd here. And then as those days come up, you just delete the day and copy or post it.
Well, there you go. So if there's any bands out there or musicians who are looking to one other avenue to promote your gigs, South Jersey Cover Band on bands, right?
SJ Cover Bands.
SJ Cover Bands on Facebook.
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I had it on the internet as well, and it was like it's a couple $100, and I really wasn't making much money off of it.
Yep.
So I was like, that'll go by the wayside. Sorry. I don't mind promoting bands, but I do mind paying to promote them.
Sure. Yeah. It's a different story when you got to pay out of pocket for it.
Yeah.
Yep, I get it. Yep. All right, so we've got 99 Reasons, we've got SJ Cover Bands.
I'm exhausted.
Well, now we're going to get to something that I think is very important. I know you said it's very personal for you. It's very personal for me as well. My grandfather on my dad's side had passed away from Alzheimer's, and it's an awful disease. It's an awful way to go. It's terrible to kind of watch your loved one fade into darkness, even though they're still alive.
Right.
It's awful. So let the people know kind of what you got going on around that.
So my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's maybe 12 years ago, maybe 13. As you mentioned, you don't really get there's no like telltale sign. It's just like all of a sudden you notice some slippage and some things not making sense, or an endless repetition, keep asking the same questions. So it was probably 13 years ago. And, like a lot of people, when you're faced with something like that, there's a lot of ways you can go. Me, I dove into it. I read a lot about Alzheimer's, and I was amazed like how many people have it. And, unlike a lot of diseases, this is going to sound really bad, so I'm apologizing but unlike a lot of diseases, there's no visible sign.
Yeah.
If you break your arm, you're probably in a cast.
Yeah.
If you have Alzheimer's, nothing, and it's like almost literally sometimes. So 11 years ago, I put together a very small benefit. I called it Atco versus Alzheimer's because I live in Atco. And it was my band at the time and two other bands from Atco. Good Man Fisk was one of them. Shut Up Justice was the other. And we had it at Rax in Atco. of all places. And we probably had like 50, 60 people show up.
Okay.
And I remember one friend, he busted on me. He goes, this is really nice. I lost my grandfather all the time. He goes, I wouldn't expect it from you. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? But it grew.
Yeah.
It became a thing, and the bands want to play. It's a disease that strikes a lot of people. And as you said, it's not just the people, it's the family it strikes. I lost my mom shortly after the first one, and I continued it for one more year, and then I took a year off. But during that time, it sort of grew. It sort of got legs. And like the second year might have been like 80, maybe 90 people.
Okay.
The third year, we moved it over to Valaris Lakeside in Sicklerville, and we had 248 people.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And I'm going, what the hell is going on here?
And you're selling tickets for this, right?
We sell tickets, yeah. And, there's raffles and things like that going on.
Yep.
After that, I moved it to the Battleship, New Jersey.
And really?
We rebranded it. That's how it became Atco Battles Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay.
And I had it there for 2 or 3 years. Moved it to the Flying W up in Medford, just because it just kept getting bigger.
Yep.
COVID kind of stopped us for a little bit.
Sure.
And then last year and this year, I'm having it at Paradise Lakes Campground down in Hamilton. Oh, okay. Which is out in the woods, and it's just, the stage kind of backs up to a man-made lake, and it's crazy, crazy good time. Tickets are going on sale on February 11th. And if you go, Rich, that's like a Tuesday in February. Why? Well, that would be my parents' anniversary. So that's the significance of that. I still have to, still paying tribute to my mom.
Sure.
So I'll have 7 bands at this point. It can go up, it can go down.
Right.
And they volunteer. I put a call out on Facebook looking to see if other bands may want to be interested, people I may not know personally. And I had 20 bands reach out to me.
Oh, nice.
And, the crazy thing, Dave, is like they know it's for free.
They're not getting paid for it.
They're not getting
volunteering
paid.
their time.
And it's a Sunday. So it's like, they're volunteering their time, volunteering their talents to help combat a disease which, has not just struck them, probably not struck them, but struck their family.
Yep.
And it's important to, raise awareness, raise money, and hopefully fight a cure. The thing that the Alzheimer's people talk about is like no one ever survived Alzheimer's. You do find cancer survivors, and I don't want to make this comparison.
I know what you're saying though.
They've never had an Alzheimer's survivor, someone who was diagnosed and it goes, "Oh, you're better."
Right.
You remember everything all of a sudden. Like, no, it doesn't happen. You just, as you said with your grandfather, just a gradual decline.
Yep.
And you go, damn.
Yeah. Every day there was a little bit less of him.
Yeah. And one of the things they talk about with Alzheimer's victims, I guess, is that they die twice. You lose the person you knew, and then eventually they leave the physical planet. But the person, your grandfather, you grew up, and he was always famous for doing something with the grandkids. Exactly. He always had the worst joke or something. He could do bad magic tricks. Right. You lose that person, and then eventually, he passes.
Exactly.
So you lose them twice. So I think that's one of the worst parts about it is just seeing a decline. You're like,
and then also the person who has Alzheimer's, because I can only speak from my grandfather's perspective. Like there were times where he was completely lucid. It was great. He knew who I was, all that stuff. And then maybe like the next day or a couple days later, I would go to like visit him or whatever, and he would have no idea who I was. You know. And then I would try to like remind him. Well, I am. I'm your grandson. Your son Tom. I'm Dave. Blah blah blah. And you could just see like the confusion in his eyes. You could see the sadness in his eyes because he knows he should know me, but he doesn't, and it's just awful to like witness that whole thing. So imagining I pictured how I felt, that he didn't know who I was at times, but then I thought about like, oh God, he must feel terrible.
Yeah. My mom, I said my mom was in a happy fog. Like that type of stuff didn't really bother her. She just was kind of like, like she would ask the same questions over and over, and sometimes I'm trying to amuse myself with, to not be frustrated. Go like, how's Dave Cudrak doing? He's good, Mom. 3 minutes later, how's Dave Cudrak doing? Right. A crazy story I remember was I was born in 1961, so the Beatles came over 64, right?
Okay. Yep.
So I'm thinking my mom was kind of cool, right? And I remember seeing a lot online about music being able to spur memories.
Yes. Yep.
And so I loaded up my phone with some early Beatles stuff, which that would have come out 63, 64, and I had it playing. I was like, "Hey, Mom, you know who that is?" And she said, "Yeah, that's Tony." Well, Tony was my neighbor who played guitar. So she was able to remember Tony playing guitar, being able to sing.
Right.
Didn't know the Beatles.
Oh, man.
So when you talk like about your grandfather with
Yep.
this disconnect, you
Yep.
go like, how's that happen? Like,
Right.
what's firing off in there? What's not firing?
That's crazy.
You don't know the Beatles, but
Yep.
you remember my neighbor, who you probably haven't seen in,
Right.
15
years,
years,
whatever.
20 years,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, oh yeah, that's Tony.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, Tony who?
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Right.
what Tony is she referring to? So, yeah, it's kind of weird, but
Sure.
so getting back to the benefit, it's like it started out small, and like I said, we got to like the 250 number. Then we were closing 400, 500, 600. We peaked out at like 850.
Was that before COVID or after?
That was right after COVID.
Right after,
like
okay.
people just wanted to get out.
Oh yeah. That makes
And
sense. Yep.
it was crazy. It was just, we had food trucks. We had, like I said, raffles. We had some games going on and stuff just to amuse people. But like, people were just, and I think that year we also, thanks to the Flying W people, they shut down. We were supposed to have it early, kind of like April-ish. They don't open till May, and we weren't able to have it in April.
Okay.
Because of COVID restrictions. So the Flying W said, here's what we'll do. We'll close one day during the season. So they lost a whole day of revenue.
Sure.
So we could have the event. And so the pool was open and everything.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was great. And just, like I said, 800 some people.
Yep.
And there was me walking around, Rich, this is great. Like, hey, dude.
Yeah. Right.
Trying to remember 800 names.
Throwing out
That
your
ain't
best
happening.
dude.
Yeah, dude. Good to see you.
So is there one particular foundation that the proceeds go to?
There's actually 3.
Okay.
I work with the Alzheimer's Association of Delaware Valley. There's another smaller organization called The Tender, Tender. They're in Mount Laurel, and they're kind of like a respite care facility. So it's almost like day camp.
Yep.
And the work that they do is kind of amazing. So it's set up so you can drop off the Alzheimer's patient at the facility, and they will care. And they have games, they have activities, stuff going on, while the person who, the caregiver, can have a day free. Where they can go to their own doctor. They can, they can read. They can go to a gym. They know that their significant other who has Alzheimer's is being cared for, while they can get out and do normal activities.
Right.
You never know when someone has Alzheimer's, you never know what's going to happen.
Sure.
I remember, the third one is my own charity that I founded a couple of years ago, and it's in honor of my mom.
Okay.
And our charity provides for caregivers to have a day off. So we'll have a licensed caregiver, nurse, or someone similar come in and sit with the Alzheimer's patient while the caregiver gets a chance to go out and have a meal. And that all started because my dad was a big hamburger eater.
Okay.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy what you remember about your parents,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And I remember saying to him, like, they lived in an elderly care facility. And I said, Dad, you want to go grab a burger? And he would always say, I can't leave your mom alone.
Right, yeah.
So, she has Alzheimer's, and he is now a prisoner of his apartment, basically.
Yeah.
And I said, that ain't no way to live, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough she has Alzheimer's,
Right.
but the next level is you're confined to being close to her, because you don't know. I mean, as he joked, like, I don't know when she's going to try and bake the newspaper. Just turn on the oven and shove a newspaper in it, or decide she's going for a walk and not tell anybody, and you're like,
yeah,
where the hell is she?
My grandfather decided, and it was before we really kind of knew that he had Alzheimer's, but this was kind of the thing that kind of like, okay, yeah, we should probably talk to somebody about this. He went for a drive, grabbed his fishing pole. He loved to fish. Grabbed his fishing pole, decided he was going to go for a drive and try to find a lake to go fishing in, here in South Jersey. And there's plenty of little lakes around. Well, he was he got lost for literally 8 hours, driving around South Jersey for 8 hours. And then eventually like drove past a hospital of some kind, like some kind of medical facility, parked and went inside and said, I need help. I don't know where I am, and then luckily they called me and they were like, I think we have your grandfather, so it was crazy.
That is. I mean, at least he was lucid enough to know, he was not in the right spot.
Right.
But like, you do hear these horror stories of people just, kind of walking out the door, going for a walk. And,
Yeah. And I remember another time I went over to his place and the toaster oven was open and on. And like on high, like on toast or something, where the burners are like red, what I mean? And I'm like, Grandpa, what's going on? Oh, I don't know. I just, that was like that. Oh, okay. Sure it was.
The whole thing started, I was in a band and I found out just from conversation that, my mom had Alzheimer's, but our guitar player, his dad had dementia. And he told a story, which is very, very telling. Like the house they lived in had a very long front. They lived on a corner. So it had a real long front. And it was kind of like one of those warm November days. And you go, I'm going to put the Christmas lights up.
Okay.
It's a good day to do it.
Sure.
And he said he's out there, and I don't know, maybe 100 feet. And he's hanging on the Christmas lights. And he gets the ladder and he goes around the other side of the house. And he's putting up more lights. He gets down because he's going inside for lunch. And there's his dad on a ladder taking down the lights.
Oh, no.
And he's like, Dad, what are you doing? And he goes, it's March. Why are these lights still up? Oh, no. And it was November. Oh, but, man. He confused, the nice weather and everything. And it was, he just knew the lights were supposed to come down. And my friend was like,
he's at one end putting them up and his dad's on the other end taking them down.
And he's like, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry.
Yeah,
and like,
right.
That's how you live.
That's brutal.
And he's like, no, Dad, it's and you can't argue. That's the thing. You're never going to win, so you don't.
Yep. Yeah, and then sometimes my grandfather would get like frustrated with me. I would try to, correct him, or I would try to explain something to him. And he'd be like, "I know what I'm talking about. Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot." Like stuff like that. So
it's a vicious disease in that regard. And so so those are the three charities: Alzheimer's Association. I love the work that they do.
Yeah.
The Tender just does amazing work on a not quite one-on-one basis, but like 1-on-12, 1-on-15 people they have there each day, and and then my own charity. So
and I assume if people Google those charities, they can find links and to help support. Okay, cool. So. Who do you got playing this year? Do you know? Remember off the top of your head?
We're waiting to confirm everybody, but as of now, it looks like 99 Reasons. Somehow that band gets on every year.
They play every year, man.
They must know someone. I don't know what the hell their deal is. The Giuliano brothers are coming back. They are tremendous people, great guys, and they ask every year if they can participate.
Nice.
Like, dude, I'll work around your schedule. So, I mean, they're so into the event that they're actually opening the event this year. They're going to play their set, and then they're leaving to do another gig later the same day.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yep.
I'm waiting to confirm, but I'll say it. Hopefully it convinces them. Mike, do your job. The Blitz is coming back.
Oh, okay.
We've had them for a number of years. They've probably, this may be their 7th time playing.
Okay.
And they just, let us know when it is. We want in.
Okay. Side note real quick, if anybody out there's listened to the Jersey Calling episode, Victoria Nicole, the female singer in Jersey Calling, her dad is in the Blitz. So
right, Vinny.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a connection there, right? So.
Exactly. I forgot about that. Yeah, and let's see, those two, Cat 5.
Okay.
Catherine, the lead singer, her father and I used to be in a band, and that was when I was talking about the gentleman taking down the Christmas lights. So it's her grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So this is their 2nd year participating. Hickstown Road, which is kind of like a country rock band, their 2nd year participating. What am I up to? 5. And we have 2 new bands this year. A band called Sunset Strip, which is kind of like an 80s hair metal tribute band.
Oh, nice.
And a band right out of Hamilton called Stealing Savannah.
Okay.
And I used to work with their guitar player, and he would go like, dude, we're doing your benefit. And I mean, that's like the feedback I get.
That's
We're doing,
cool.
and like every year he goes, we can't do your benefit.
Oh.
He goes, we got a gig. And I saw them a couple of weeks ago, and he came up to me and goes, we have no Sunday gigs in April. We have no Sunday gigs up until Memorial Day. So we're doing your gig this year.
Nice.
I was like,
perfect.
I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, right.
And it like I said, it's amazing the caliber of band, but more importantly, the caliber of people who want to be involved. You know, and then I have a sound company who donates their time to do it as well. And he was kind of like, "What?
Fantastic."
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, like I put something on Facebook a little while ago. I was just like, let me see who else is out there, because I have a great circle of friends and bands.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean I know everybody.
Right.
And like, it's like, I don't know, 19, 20 bands saying, I'm like, yeah, we'd love to participate.
That's great.
And, it means a lot to us.
Sure,
like,
sure.
So now I have the unfortunate task of saying, like, thank you so much.
Right.
We're full.
Right.
I could literally put together a weekend event.
I was going to say, has the thought ever crossed your mind to do like a multi-day festival?
For about a nanosecond. There is so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
Every now and then, like the day or two after it, I take a step back and I'm able to reflect on it.
Yep.
And I'm just amazed. I'm amazed that somehow everything comes together, and if you've never done a big event in terms of organizing or been part of the organization, it's crazy. I was talking to one of the bands on the way over here, and they're all fired up, which is cool. But he's like, what do you need help with? I said, do you know anybody who can hook us up with Wi-Fi for a day? Like, what? Okay. I said, how about an ATM? You know anybody who can rent an ATM for a day?
Yep.
And I got to get, we're bringing in bathrooms, and you think about the stage coordination. Okay, so I got this. And, somebody wants to DJ between the bands, and, where are we going to set up? And, trying to get sponsors, and because it's not free to organize it. Sure. And the ticket revenue is great. But I want to have money to make sizable donations. I don't want to be spending all my money on bathrooms.
Right. I hear you. Yep.
So.
And do you you've got the tickets, and then you've got the entertainers and whoever else donating time and stuff like that. Do you have like sponsors as well?
We're trying to get sponsors.
Okay.
We're talking to the Flyers right now. They've shown a lot of interest, but as you know, they just made a big announcement yesterday about building an arena, and somehow I got reduced to second place on that. So
how dare they?
Yeah, really. No, we've been very fortunate. Canada Dry got involved in a big way last year.
Okay.
They donated a lot of drinks, sodas, and stuff like that. There's restaurants that they're hurting still. You kind of feel bad asking them for a $50 or $100 gift card.
Right. Yep.
So you're trying to support them. Like I'll ask the places where I go and eat dinner and say, hey, would you want to? Yeah. We're a 501c3. It is a tax write-off. Like this year, what I'm trying to include is like crafters, just so people have things to do. Yeah. Whether it's rolling cigars type of thing like that, chair massage, things like that. Just other activities that are going on to make it, kind of enjoy the festival. Like one of the cannabis companies wants to be involved. And I was like, well, yeah, but no smoking. We're in the woods. I don't really want people firing up because you just don't want an accident. And so we're like, all right, how about gummies? We need to test them, but we need a prolonged period to test them. Probably over the next 2 months. You might see me smiling a lot. Just so, and eating Doritos at Wawa at 2 in the morning.
Right, of course. Either he's testing gummies or he just had a show. It's one or the other.
One or the other. Nobody really knows which one it is.
So you mentioned tickets go on sale February 11th.
February 11th.
When is the actual gig? When's the show?
The event is April 27th.
Okay.
So got a healthy amount of time. We're doing the first day sale this year is going to be pretty significant. We're only charging $15, and then they go up to $25. But it's still it's a charity thing, and you're going to see 7 really good bands. Yep.
And how do you get tickets? Is there a specific website?
We're going through Eventbrite.
Okay.
It's eventbrite.com, and you just do a search for Atco. Yep. And it should show up. There's not a whole
lot. Atco Battles Alzheimer's, right? Okay.
But Atco should, as a keyword, it should show up.
Earlier you mentioned the Flyers, and if anybody follows you on Facebook, occasionally you will post pictures of Zambonis on the ice. So for those that don't know, tell people what you do for the Flyers.
So I do the in-game statistics on our TV broadcast on NBC Universal. So, as the game is progressing, I keep track of various numbers to feed to either the production truck, where they will type it up and it will appear on screen, or I hand it over to our 2 announcers, and they can decide if they want to read it or not.
Okay.
So, it's a very cool job. I've had it for 26 years, 27 years.
Oh, wow. That's
and
awesome.
It's, every game. And like you were joking about the Zamboni races, I get there early. And the cool thing is, people know I do it, and I'm able to sometimes able to meet up with friends who are at the game. It's a fun job. I mean, I could be digging ditches in North Philly at 4 a.m. looking for gas leaks.
Right, sure.
So, I like it. It's live TV. That's the only challenge. I mean, you don't get a chance to do it again.
Right.
There's just like our performances.
Yeah, but there's very little room for error in your job there.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, just like a performance. You hit the wrong note, it's like it's there. Everybody heard it. You're a soloist. You can't even look at the bass player. This is what we always do.
Yeah, right. There's nobody blame but myself if I mess up.
Yeah, if we hit a wrong note, we're just all looking at the bass player like, what are you doing, man? You're playing the wrong song. You got to get a bass player, Dave. That's what you need. Just someone to blame.
Somebody
to
blame for the mess ups. That's all I need. All right, brother. Well, this has been a pleasure. I appreciate
Dave,
you
thank
doing
you so
it.
much for having me on, man. It was great.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. And good luck with the Alzheimer's event in April 27th. Atco Battles Alzheimer's. Get your tickets February 11th.
Well, you can get them anytime after February 11th.
Yeah,
It starts the 11th.
Yep, exactly. So, but they're probably cheaper on February 11th, right?
There's a one-day sale. Yep.
There you go.
Our opening day sale.
There you go. So, all right, cool. I hope it goes well for you. Good luck with everything. And again,
Appreciate
thanks for doing it, brother.
Yeah, it's a great time, man.
Awesome.